Do you ever wonder if your dog actually knows how much you love them? Not just that you're their person, not just that you're the one who feeds them and walks them and lets them on the couch, but that you love them deeply, completely, in a way that matters. Of course you love your dog. That part was never in question. But here's what most owners don't realize. Dogs don't experience love the way we express it. They don't hear it in the words. They don't unwrap it from the gifts. They read it in something far quieter, a language built from moments, from posture, from presence. And if you don't know that language, you might be speaking it perfectly without knowing your dog heard every word, or you might be missing the moments that matter most to them without realizing it. These 7 things take almost no time, but to your dog, each one lands as something profound. And by the time we get to the last one, you're going to realize there's one thing you probably already do every single day. Something that feels completely ordinary to you, that your dog experiences as the deepest possible proof that you chose them. Let's start with what your dog is actually reading when you look at them. 1. Make eye contact on purpose. How often do you actually stop and look at your dog? Not glance over while you're doing something else. Not check on them from across the room. Actually, stop, turn toward them, look them in the eyes, and hold it for just a moment. Most people do it without thinking. You look at your dog while you're petting them, or when you call their name, or when they do something that makes you smile. It feels natural, automatic, just part of being around them. Here's what most owners don't realize. That moment of eye contact, the deliberate kind, the kind where you both go, still isn't just a glance between a person and their pet. It triggers a measurable chemical response inside your dog's brain. Something ancient, something powerful. And it's been happening every time you've done it, whether you knew it or not. Researchers at Asabu University in Japan discovered something remarkable in 2015. When dogs and their owners exchanged prolonged eye contact, oxytocin levels rose in both of them. The same hormone that floods between a mother and her newborn in the first moments of life. The bonding hormone. The one that says, "You are mine and I am yours." Your dog's brain doesn't distinguish between that chemistry and love, because to them, it is the same thing. Think about what that means. Every time you've stopped and looked at your dog, really looked, not glanced, their body has been responding as if something profound just happened, because it did. You weren't just making eye contact. You were telling them, through the oldest biological signal available, that they matter to you. That pause, mid-play, when everything goes quiet and your dog looks up at you and just holds it, their eyes soft, their body still, the whole world narrowing to that one moment between the two of you. That pause is where the bond lives. And now you know what to do with it. 2. Get down on their level. When your dog comes running over to you, how do you usually greet them? Do you reach down from the couch, give them a quick scratch, and go back to what you were doing? Or do you stay standing, bend slightly, pat their head from above? Most owners don't think twice about it. You're busy, they're happy, you reach down, they wag, everyone moves on. The greeting happened. What else is there to think about? Here's what most people never think about. Height and posture carry enormous emotional weight in your dog's world. The way a body positions itself, whether it rises above or comes down to meet, isn't neutral information to a dog. It's a signal, and it's one your dog is reading every single time you walk into a room. Researchers at the University of Lincoln in the UK studied how approach, angle, and human body posture affected dogs during greetings. Dogs consistently showed lower arousal levels and slower heart rates when the person greeting them physically lowered their body rather than looming above them. The approach angle alone changed the dog's entire read of the interaction. When you get on the floor, your dog's nervous system exhales. They're not just happy, they're safe. This is the part most owners miss. Getting down to your dog's level isn't just a warm gesture. It's a declaration. You made yourself smaller so they didn't have to reach up. You came to them. In a language your dog has spoken since birth, a language built entirely on posture, proximity, and who moves toward whom, that means everything. You've done it, probably without thinking about it. The moment you drop to the floor and your dog climbs straight into your lap, or presses their forehead against your chest, or just leans their whole weight into you like they've been waiting all day for exactly this. That's not your dog being cute. That's your dog deciding, again, that you are someone worth getting close to. 3. Talk to them even when it sounds ridiculous. Do you talk to your dog? Not commands. Not sit or stay or let's go. Actually talk to them about your day, about what you're making for dinner, in that voice you would never use around other adults. Most people assume it's more for themselves than for the dog. A harmless habit. Sweet, maybe a little embarrassing, but mostly one-sided. The dog hears sound. They wag. They tilt their head, but they're not really getting anything meaningful from it. What most owners don't realize is that your dog is doing something very specific when you talk to them. They're not just hearing noise, they're reading you. And the information they're pulling from your voice, the tone, the warmth, the pattern of it is telling them something no command ever could. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest discovered in 2016 that dogs process human speech using both hemispheres of the brain. The right hemisphere handles emotional tone. The left handles word meaning. They're not passively receiving sound, they're actively analyzing it, separating how you feel from what you're saying, and weighing both. Your dog knows that voice. The soft one, the silly one. And when they hear it, their brain registers one clear signal. Everything is okay. Think about what you're actually giving your dog every time you narrate your morning. Explain why you're leaving, or just say their name in a warm tone for no particular reason. You're not filling silence. You're sending a signal that travels straight past their ears and lands somewhere much deeper. You're telling their nervous system that the world is steady, that you're with them, that nothing is wrong. They can't answer you, but they heard every word, the ones underneath the words, and those are the ones that matter. If any of this is changing the way you see the small things you do with your dog, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us reach more dog owners who want to understand what their dog is actually telling them. 4. Let them sniff without rushing it. How many times have you shifted your weight, said, "Come on," or given a gentle tug on the leash while your dog stood completely frozen nose, working furiously over a patch of ground that looked, to you, like absolutely nothing? Most owners see it as a small inconvenience, a distraction, a stubbornness quirk they tolerate because they love their dog. You let them finish, eventually, and then you both move on. It feels like patience. It doesn't feel like it means anything more than that. Here's what most people don't realize about what's actually happening in that moment. Sniffing isn't idle behavior. It isn't your dog getting distracted or slowing you down. It is the primary way your dog reads, processes, and regulates the entire world around them. And the choice to let them finish without pulling them away communicates something your dog understands more clearly than almost anything else you do. Researchers Charlotte Duranton and Alexandra Horowitz at the Horowitz Dog Cognition Lab at Barnard College in New York published a study in 2019 that found dogs given regular nosework opportunities showed significantly higher optimism scores than dogs whose sniffing was restricted. They weren't just happier in the moment. Their entire emotional outlook shifted. Not from longer walks, not from more treats, from being allowed to use their nose without interruption. Letting your dog sniff doesn't just make the walk better. It tells them you trust their instincts. Every time you hold the leash loose and wait, every time you resist the urge to move them along, you are telling your dog something no amount of training can replicate. I trust what matters to you. I'm not pulling you away from it. In a dog's world where so much is decided for them, that kind of patience isn't passive, it's profound. Your dog's whole body stilled, nose pressed to the ground, tail doing a slow, soft wag while you stand quietly and wait. That moment costs you 30 seconds. To your dog, it is proof that you are paying attention to what matters to them, not just what matters to you. 5. Give them a job, even a small one. Does your dog carry something on the way back from a walk, a stick, a toy, their own leash? Do they race ahead to check the yard before you step outside? Do they plant themselves at the front door the moment a stranger knocks, holding position until you tell them it's okay? Most owners see it as personality. Some dogs are just more alert, more focused, more enthusiastic about things. It's endearing. It's part of what makes your dog yours. But it doesn't mean anything beyond that, it's just how they are. What most people don't realize is that your dog isn't randomly busy. They're not restless or overexcited or just being themselves. They're fulfilling something ancient, something that runs so deep in their biology that when it goes unmet, something goes quietly wrong, and when it's honored, everything settles. Research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science from the University of Bristol found that dogs given regular task-oriented activity showed significantly lower rates of anxiety behavior and stronger owner bonding indicators than dogs living in purely passive environments. Not longer walks, not more toys, a job, something to do that felt like it mattered. Giving your dog a task doesn't just keep them occupied, it tells them they belong here. Think about what you're actually saying when you hand your dog their leash to carry, or ask them to find their toy before dinner, or let them lead the way into the yard. You're not entertaining them. You're telling them they have a role in this family, that their instincts are welcome here, that the thing they were built to do, contribute, protect, participate, has a place in the life you've built together. That's your dog trotting through the house with something in their mouth, head just a little higher than usual, tail carried with a kind of quiet pride. That's not a dog showing off. That's a dog who knows they matter here because you told them so. 6. Sit with them doing absolutely nothing. When did you last sit with your dog and do nothing? No phone, no show running in the background, no task you were planning to get back to in a minute. Just the two of you in the same space, completely quiet. Most owners save the real time for the active things. The walks, the play sessions, the big visible moments of attention. The sitting still moments feel passive by comparison. Like they don't quite count. Like your dog deserves more than just you, present but not performing. Here's what most people miss entirely. Shared stillness is not passive to your dog. It is not the absence of quality time. It is the most complete form of presence you can offer them. And your dog experiences calm coexistence as something far more significant than most owners ever realize. More grounding than play, more reassuring than touch. more meaningful than any command you've ever taught them. Researchers at Eötvös-Loránd University found that dogs' cortisol levels dropped most significantly not during exercise or active play, but during calm, close proximity to their bonded owner when nothing was happening except nearness. Not stimulation, not activity, just you there, with nowhere else to be. Your dog's body isn't waiting for something to happen. In those quiet moments, it's already arrived. There's a kind of love that doesn't need to prove itself, doesn't need to produce anything or perform for anyone. When you sit next to your dog and simply exist alongside them, phone down, attention nowhere else, you're offering them something they cannot ask for and you cannot fake. Your undivided presence, the signal that right now, this is where you chose to be. Your dog pressed against your leg on the couch, head resting down, eyes going soft and half closed, their breathing slowing until it almost matches yours. That exhale, that slow, deep, settling breath is not your dog falling asleep. That's your dog deciding they are completely safe. And that happened because you were there. Just there. Nothing else required. 7. Come home like it matters. What do you do the moment you walk through the door? Do you greet your dog straight away crouching down, letting them have that first moment fully? Or do you put your back down first, check your phone, get yourself settled, and say hello when you get to it? Most owners assume the greeting lands the same either way. Your dog is happy the moment you walk in. They're wagging before you've even turned the handle. They'll settle down and be fine regardless of what happens next. The excitement speaks for itself. Here's what most owners never realize about that moment. To your dog, your return is not simply a pleasant event in their day. It is the resolution of a waiting period they experience with full emotional intensity. Every minute you were gone, their nervous system was quietly carrying the weight of your absence. And the way you come home, whether you arrive fully or drift in distracted, tells your dog every single day whether the waiting was worth it. Researcher Therese Wren and colleagues found that dogs showed measurably different physiological responses depending on how their owner greeted them after separation. Owners who greeted their dog warmly, both verbally and physically, triggered significantly higher oxytocin responses in their dogs than owners who greeted them neutrally or not at all. The reunion didn't just feel different, it changed their biology. Your greeting isn't a formality. It's the moment their body finally exhales. Think about what those first few seconds actually mean to your dog. They weren't just waiting for the door to open. They were waiting for confirmation that everything is okay, that you came back, that the world is steady again. The 2 seconds it takes to stop, crouch down, and meet them fully. Those 2 seconds are not small to them. They're the point of the whole day. And here's the thing I told you we'd get to at the start. You asked whether your dog actually knows how much you love them. Here's the answer. They don't measure it in words. They measure it in moments. The eye contact you held, the floor you sat on, the patience you gave them on the walk, the quiet evenings you stayed present. Every single day, before you've even turned the handle, your dog already knows you're coming. They're already at the door, already waiting, not out of habit, out of love. They've been keeping track of every one of those moments all along. Every small thing you did, every time you showed up fully, and to them, not one of it was ever small.